Hai noroc și sănătate, eu sunt Dumitru și bine ați venit la un nou videoclip. Astăzi o să jucăm The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. L-am mai încercat o dată, dar filmarea nu a mers deloc bine. Dar acum, pentru că știu cum să-mi folosesc calculatorul mai ca lumea, să folosesc puterea cum trebuie, cred că o să meargă filmarea cât de cât mai bine. Please adjust the slider until the computer is very visible. Da. Hai să zicem că asta ajunge. Please adjust the slider until the dog and the cat are friends. Hai că nici chiar așa. Ia să vedem. Ce mă, sunt alergic la animale acum. Nici chiar așa. Acum e suficient. Please adjust the slider until the number 5 becomes the number 9. De ce? Ce se întâmplă aici? Please adjust the slider until you stop adjusting the slider. Which of the two made-up words below is the most appealing to you? Ocuboincle, scrumptious. That is really, sounds like, sună ca și scrumptious. Scrumptious. Ocuboincle. Asta. Please don't adjust the slider. Nah. Do you know what time is it right now? Yes. Is it the time that is the time that it is right now the correct time? What the fuck is happening? Just let me play the game. What is time anyway? No. Is there anything about yourself that you haven't told me? Yes. But shut the fuck up, please. Sure. Will you come back to visit me? Yes. Gata? Eu spun că e gata. Hai de cap. Frumos ar fi să-mi arate câtă memorie video consumă chestia asta. Sper că merge bine. Begin the game. The end is never the end, is never the end. The end is loading.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ca să fiu sigur, o să închei aici filmarea și o să văd cum merge. Mă scuzați. Eram sigur că o să meargă perfect. Ați văzut, a fost o țărălac. Nu știu de ce, dar a fost. Ia uite, aici mi arată 39, 52 de FPS. Ce căcat, măi. Hai că o să dau setările mai mici și o să mai testez o dată. Nu știu dacă să bag chestia asta în clip, sincer, dar... PLM. Poate că ar trebui totuși să dau asta jos. Vreau să spun că arată ok. Totul bine. Sper cel puțin. Poți să mai intru o dată? De ce morți, mătii?
No matter how hard Stanley looked, Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way. Stanley clicked on literally every single door in the office because he doesn't pick up well on cues from his environment.
New content. Haide! Nu zice nimica? Pe bune? Să mă duc aici? Sau mai târziu? Mai târziu. Dar hai să mai testez o dată. Ok, am mai schimbat niște setări ca să meargă cât de cât bine.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
De data asta o să fac tot ce zice omul. Fără greșeală. Nu mai zice nimica pe bune? Prima oară zicea ceva.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
How to solve a dispute with a coworker? Let it ball up inside you. Present coworkers for not supporting you. Using sets to assure employees that everything is okay. Make sure your slide has a slick blue graphic. Arată foarte ieftin, să-mi bat picioarele. Și mă, 4-3 pe bune. Everyone is unique. You most of all. What? Mă rog.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Chiar mă întreb, chiar nu e nimic aici?
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Nu, o să mai stau aici o țără să vedem dacă zice ceva.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Fuck all? Ce înseamnă acolo? Aia. Vreau o găleată.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
I want a bucket. I want a bucket. Now.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever.
Really?
I never would have thought to mention it.
This makes it important. Because you said it.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friend you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
What the fuck? Oh shit.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose.
Poți face asta?
Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby?
The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities.
It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Mai e? Spune că mai e. Vreau o găleată. Broom closet. Vreau o găleată. Că eu știu că e o șmecherie. Cel puțin cred. Așa am văzut în unele clipuri. Vreau o găleată. Cinci, 4, 3, 2, 1. Presupun că asta e. Mă mișc? Uite bă, nu sunt mort.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Nu! Altceva? Hai mai zi ceva. Hai mă mai zi. Unde pot să găsesc o găleată? Știu că era o pancartă zice no buckets past this point. Și dacă iau o găleată și o duc mai încolo, simt că e un secret, e ceva, un easter egg. Nu știu. Ia. Ce se întâmplă acum? Yeah.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Upstairs. Mai vreau să fac șmecheria o dată. Mă rog. Executive bathroom. Nicio reflexie, nimica. I've got the feeling money is for stealing, but not yours, of course. Say, that's a lovely purse. Extreme bathroom time. Mișto. Oricât de inutile sunt tablourile, am mai văzut câteva care sunt foarte mișto. Și să bag cele de nu le-aș pune la mine pe perete. Numai așa, artistic. Okay, hi there.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him, and so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't pop. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
Sheer
Amazing.
luck.
He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Pe acolo, da. Hai, da. Pe aceea nu-i nimica, cred. Hai, da. Îmi place jocul, sincer, îmi place. Se poate numi fourth wall breaking? Că nu pot să-mi dau seama.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Ce pui mea, am crezut că sunt biciuri. Ce dracu, acum mi-arată clar că sunt un sclav.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Hai, momentan aici. După aia facem și alte alegeri.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Ok, trebuie să o iau pe aici.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their
104.
true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Ce cu 244, 234? E o chestie cu multe dintre ele, dar mă întreb dacă pot să intru în camerele alea. Mă întreb cât content are jocul ăsta, să-mi bag picioarele.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it.
I can.
His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was
Always.
unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Voice acting e mișto, dar parcă prea dramatic. Glumesc, e mișto, doar că a făcut-o să fie prea dramatică. Așa, asta a vrut să facă. Writerul, așa, și
But here
actorul.
was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Off. That was easy.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen.
Ce țară e asta?
And Stanley was happy.
Ok, hai să mergem. Să facem alte
All of his
alegeri.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Nah.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Ok, e vreo găleată pe aici? De care trebuie să mă apropii așa de mult de microfon. Mă rog, asta e. Trebuie să mă chinui o țără și să mai editez.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
Sure.
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
Vocea pare bătrână, să zic așa.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if them... Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley. All right. All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Până acum nu putea să sar. Fac și eu niște sport, ce să zic, și așa m-am îngrășat. Se întâmplă ceva? A? Nimica? Mă ajunge în față să văd dacă se întâmplă ceva, că așa nu sunt uși ca să se închidă. Dar parcă mi-e și lene să mă întorc. Hai mă să vedem.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
Ce se întâmplă dacă nu făceam nimica? Mai puteam să sar? Oare o să am nevoie de săriturile astea?
Goodness, another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content?
I guess.
If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And if... Oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
Thank you for enjoying the new content.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
O, ce voce groasă are, e mișto să-mi fac ce... N-am ales eu chestia asta. Ce e asta? Și doar ca să știți, jocul ăsta are foarte mult dialog sau monolog între și între. Și nu o să vorbesc așa de mult, dar o să încerc să comentez cât mai mult. Ca să fie un clip ca lumea. I hate Mondays.
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something!
Ok. Ce se întâmplă?
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste. And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Ok. Memory Zone Maintenance. Da, bine.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content.
Ok, lasă-mă la contentul ălalt.
To spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
Source is the... Ok. Pe acolo sau pe unde? Ha? Pe unde e aia? What the fuck? What the fuck? Și ce fac? Nu pot să sar. Nu pot să sar.
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before.
Okay.
What's this? What's down here? Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they? Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art.
I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Ok. Hai să...
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I?
Ba da.
You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. I always, well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with.
Ce s-a întors?
You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley parable. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you... Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of... Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45... Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls 1,000 times. And there's no door, Stanley. There's no door. There's just you and the button, and if you keep pressing it, I have no idea what will happen. I have no idea how long I'll be made to sit here. And more than anything else, I don't know how to stop you from pressing the button again. I can't control anything in this room, Stanley. I can't touch it. And I have to believe, I have to know that sooner or later, no matter how much I plead with you, you're going to press the button again. Why would you? I've been thinking, and I don't know what I can do to convince you otherwise. Oh my God.
Păi ce aș
And
putea
it's
să
all
fac?
because of those reviews that I couldn't get out of my head. I just couldn't ignore the negative feedback. Why was it so important for me to fix the problem?
Scoate-l.
Why did
Tu l-ai
Cookie
băgat.
Nine's opinion matter so much to me? I've never even met Cookie Nine. I have no idea who they are. What would it ever really matter? But here I am. I'm fixating on every tiny negative thing that anyone ever says about me. The merest mention of one of my imperfections, and I become as impetulant as a child, wild and impulsive. I can't help myself. I can't stop myself from lashing out with a vengeful... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing.
Da.
Would you think that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've
Tu mă
always
faci să dau
been
skip.
doing? Me just talking? But it isn't, Stanley. It isn't the same. Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley. Days, months. I lost it all in a blur of the deepest longing to undo the past. And when that feeling had begun to subside, what took its place is what I can only describe as the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire life. All of them collapsed down into a single instant. In that instant, I could see myself clearly, calmly, with a collected heart. It was an impossibly rich wellspring of both delight and disgust simultaneously. I was consumed by it. I could do nothing but wallow in it for what felt like an eternity, for what I now know was far less. You see, it was a revelation for me. It was unlike anything I had ever known. It was a space without consequence, without action or outcome. It was divorced entirely from the will that you and I have squabbled over for so long. There could be no one ending, no singular outcome of events, not if all events existed in the same moment. And I felt freed. I felt unburdened by the need to manifest a particular outcome into being. I saw that I could allow myself to exist along all timelines, and that each of them was simply a strand in the web of my being. It was incredible. The spaciousness, the equanimity of the moment, both singular and infinite. For the longest time, this was my experience. And then this moment passed, and the most unyielding fear I have ever known crept into my mind. And it is this sensation that I have been experiencing now for longer than I could have ever expected was possible. I have been waiting for you. Not that you might save me or do something to fix it, but merely to state for you the plain fact of this manner of existence. I wish you to feel afraid as I do, that perhaps one day this state of mind will consume you as well. Perhaps you will somehow, in some way, have to live as I do now, and I wish for you to know how excruciating it is, and for you to be in true terror of its eventual arrival. If I can only do this, only this one thing, perhaps it will bring me the smallest moment of peace in the darkness.
Gata? Am ajuns la timp? Ok. Deci, dau skip. Ok. Altceva? Deci tot nu e... Nu e nicio ușă, nimic, absolut nimic. Și eu ce morți mă te-ai vrea să fac? Pe bune? Atât? E ceasul ăla sau ce e? De unde vine, măi? Deci, ce are, măi? Dau skip încă o dată.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability. It's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world. as though there were no consequences for a lack of cohesion in one's assessment of others. But of course, absolutely anyone can leave a review. So here's what we get. We get these demands that seek everything and are accountable to nothing. We get a world where someone will say, oh, there should be a skip button. You should be able to freeze Stanley in place while the narrator sits there forever and ever. We want all of this in the new Stanley parable. We demand it. And then, because it was said, because it was spoken, now it simply has to happen. The most immediate desires, every single thing demanded by every person.
Mai durează?
The end is never the end, 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 the end, is never the end.
Mai durează mult? The fuck? Ce s-a întâmplat? Ok. E ce o gaură pe aici, dar... Cred că ar trebui totuși să dau vizibilitatea mai bine. Nu văd asta, luminositatea, dar asta e. Așa. Hai să-l mai apăsăm o dată. Și tot nu e nimica, tot e lumină din asta goală. O, ești nebun? Eu ce frumos. Eu ce mișto. Bă, ce-s astea? Par foarte prost făcute. Depinde de perspectivă, dar îți dai seama că parcă sunt hârtie. Mă rog. De ce? Hai doar la creepy e. Ce sunt sunetele astea? Ok, asta m-a speriat. Presupun că e doar ambianța jocului. Next. Mai merge? Nu prea pare să meargă. Și cum se tot întâmplă asta? Ok. Ce naiba e asta? Unde e naratorul? Bă, ești nebun? Vreau un vehicul să-mi bat picioarele. Mai durează mult până ajung pe undeva? Ce vreau să însemne și asta? Eu am vrut efectiv să ajung undeva. Ce înseamnă asta? Nu înțeleg. What the fuck? Am vrut să merg mai departe. Ok. Înțeleg că poate... A fost prea departe ca să ajung a fost prea lung drumul ca să pot să ajung undeva și mi-am dat și eu seama. Mă gândeam că o să apară ceva, o să fie altceva, dar... Eu ce nu pot să înțeleg... De ce au ajuns la finalul ăla dacă Nu mi-au dat ceva. Gen, hai să zicem că mor de deshidratare, dar nici atâta. Cum am ajuns acolo, ce era camera aia și cum s-a distrus clădirea. Și ce era în mijlocul deșertului. Sponsorizați-vă Pepsi. Vă fac destul de reclamă deja. 3 persoane cu siguranță o să bea Pepsi după clipul ăsta. Hai, next.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Din nou? Nu, mai târziu.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door, and this was not the correct way to the meeting room.
I know.
And Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Hai, continuă.
Yes, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Da. Este. Hai, continuă să vedem dacă mai e ceva.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Shut the fuck up! Poate vreau doar să mă relaxez. Nu e lumea ta.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Că ar trebui să continui, dar nu prea vreau, ca să știu clar că nu mai e dialog. Din nou, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ia să vedem.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Da, ok, nu, mersi.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
O să încerc să caut o găleată.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Pe unde eram? Stai o țără. Ce aici o găleată? O să iau? Nu, cred că e altă găleată. Ia să vedem. Warning, do not stand on this side of fence. No buckets past this point. Dar unde pot eu să găsesc găleți? Uite, una sau nu? Altceva? What the fuck? Am intrat în... Ok. Dă-mi o găleată. În momentul ăsta îmi dai o găleată. Nu. Dă-mi găleata. Dă-mi găleata. Pe bune. Aici ce e? No, asta e.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Nu, mersi. Mai târziu.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see, there's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted?
Da.
Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you?
Da.
Do you not think I put a lot of time into that?
No.
Because I did.
No.
And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see.
Da.
Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Sincer, sunt destul de multe chestii pe care aș putea să le... Adică sunt... Jocul ăsta e practic un choice-driven game. Dar sunt atât de multe alegeri și trebuie să mă întorc atât de mult ca să le fac. Trebuie să iau jocul de la început și să ajung într-un punct și să fac altă alegere. E cam enervant, sincer.
Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
The Stanley Parable Worldwide Leaderboard. Eu n-am Steam, nu, ăsta e piratat, deci... Good old Neil is offline, Skid is offline. Oare oamenii ăștia sunt oameni adevărați? Și eu sunt ultimul. 4-7. How long does it take you to get to the correct door? Compete against others to improve your Stanley Parable. Career, you are objectively ranked. Why not ask some friends for help? Error friends list empty. Ok, știi ceva? Meriți un 1. Meriți.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
1.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Okay.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Ce se întâmplă dacă joc chestia asta pentru 4 ore? O măsa. Handicapatul ai văzut.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me?
None.
Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable.
I'm sure.
Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot. Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted, erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Am și revăzut serialul Codrin de Firewatch. E mișto să mă picioarele.
Oh no. No, it can't be. It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any...
Da. Jocurile de genul sunt mișto.
Thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing. Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed. Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together? Yes, touchdown. I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Cam lăguit, asta e. Hai la roșii, că eu sunt albastru. Nu prea se duce în direcția pe care vreau eu.
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought. And I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience. I'm going to try it out. Here comes another ball.
Nu mai băga că am lag.
Oh goodness, that really does feel amazing, doesn't it? Stanley, I'm like a child in a confectionery shop. I simply have to have more. I'm insatiable. More balls!
Vreau doar ca una să ajungă în gol. Hai mă, mai repede!
Are you enjoying this, Stanley? Are you having fun? Is this a real video game? Well, I sure hope you're having a good time, because guess what? It's over. That's right. Your little fun comes to an end.
Okay.
This is my game, and what I say goes. You get to have fun when I let you, Stanley. Besides, you need someone like me to set boundaries for you. Without rules or boundaries, video games are nothing. Yes, that's what I am. I'm structure. I'm your sense of purpose. And since you decided you didn't want to play my game, now I don't want to play with you either. So, goodbye, Stanley. I'm leaving. See how you like it when I'm not around to set the rules. Somehow, I don't think you'll enjoy it as much. Hold on. What are you doing?
Știu eu ce fac.
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley.
Eu l-am mai jucat o dată, dar tot e creepy, să-mi bag picioarele. Fără ambianță, fără absolut nimic. E gol și e creepy rău de tot, e creepy. Bă, deci știu că nu o să se întâmple nimic, dar... E creepy rău de tot. Și acum trebuie să mă întorc. E și mai creepy. Gata?
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me.
Kinda.
Someone who will wrap everything up at the end
Da.
to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
I can't. Hai da. Ok.